So, welcome to Jacked Up Politics Local Elections Special. My name's Jack, I'm a second year Government and Political Science student in UCC. This evening I'm joined by Pat Buckley, TD for Cork East, and Mehdi Oznicar. He is the local election candidate for the Cobh LEA in the upcoming local election on Friday. Lads, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Hi, good evening.
So, the topic of today's episode, folks, is the importance of getting out and voting on Friday and ensuring that you fulfil your democratic duty. As many people are aware, over 100 years ago now, Michael Collins and Padraig Pearse, amongst many others, fought for the right for people to be able to vote in Ireland and to be able to decide our own destiny. So we're going to start off with Deputy Pat Buckley and get his opinion on why voting is so important in the upcoming local elections.
Thanks, Jack. I suppose, look, I'm not being brutally honest in this. I say to people, why is it so important to vote? Number one, if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain about anything because you didn't vote to change it. It doesn't really matter what your politics is, but use your democratic right and vote. And I think the best example of that is if you want something to change, and the best example there was baking a cake, if you keep putting the same ingredients in and not changing it, the taste of that cake will never change. It's the same with voting. If you don't vote for making a difference, nothing happens. And I think that's the most democratic part of it, because what I find is so important about this is you'll have somebody here, could be months down the road, and they're giving out about something, and you say, did you vote? And they go, no. Well, I said, why are you complaining about it? You had an opportunity. And I think the local politics is as important as the national politics. But local, I think you have to exercise right local politics because local people have the local expertise. They're contactable more than we are. And let's be honest again, with the workloads we'd have. But I mean, you can't play a team sport unless you have a full team to play it. So I think that's why it's so vital to get out this Friday. Vote in your European elections, vote in your local elections. And if you want change, the only way to do it is your democratic right, and that's what it's called, the democratic right for. It's your right to go out and give the mandate to whoever you want to work on behalf of you to make your communities much safer and much better and more inclusive.
Thanks for that, Pat. And Mehdi, you are going to be going for local election on Friday. What are your opinions?
Thank you very much, Jack. So, same as Pat, this is very important because even when I used to live in Italy or in Turkey or in different countries, always the best way to make a good change is with voting. For example, recently in Turkey, the Turkish people, they had 20 years of horror and all the issues, economical crisis, Turkish lira devaluated actually. It became €1 equal to 35 lira. So it's like 10 times worse than a couple of years ago. So what people they did, and we had almost 80% of the electoral population went for voting and they made their voice heard and they went for change. So our situation is same in Ireland. If we don't go for voting, nothing will change. And most of the people that I am speaking actually, and they complain, but as Pat was saying, that if you don't go for voting, then you have no right to complain. So this is important. Go and make your voice heard by voting. This is really, really crucial. Doesn't matter for who you vote, but hopefully for us, because if you want for better change, you need to vote for Sinn Fein. But in general, you need to actually go and vote, make your voice heard.
Thanks for that, Mehdi. So, I suppose the second question I have for you both this evening is that Ireland is going to be facing a challenge on Friday. We've seen the rise of candidates with less than ideal morals. We've seen the rise of a lot of anti-immigration candidates. And we've seen quite the rise in candidates that do not represent what is, some would say, is what's best for Ireland. So, Pat, we'll start with you since you're kind of already an elected representative, and we'll get your take on it then, Mehdi.
Yeah, here it is. I suppose, to be honest, again, it goes back to what you want. It's this is a democratic process. I would say to people, there's more disinformation out there at the moment. Why I never envisaged to get into politics. Majority of people that get into politics go into it to make changes because they've seen societal things that didn't work before. My own background was, unfortunately, I'd lost 2 brothers to suicide. The mental health system was crap. The health service was failing. The coroners were failing. On Garda Síochána, ambulance, fire service didn't even get counselling back in the 2000s. So that was a red flag to me. We didn't have a youth club since 1986. Another red flag. And I said, surely we can make some bit of a difference. I started in local politics. I got elected in the local council. I moved from there to Cork County Council, and from there to Dáil Éireann. And I was very proud to be part of, and this is what I'm saying about making change and positive change. I was involved on that committee with Oznicar report to change stuff to protect the disclosure laws, change the assisted decision-making capacity bill is coming through. These are all to make improvements for society. I want to be sitting out, I suppose the best way of saying it is, from the little acorn goes a mighty oak tree. Now, I might only be the one that's watering that acorn until it grows the first 2 inches. Somebody else will come along after me and hopefully keep that tree growing. But bit by bit, I would love to turn around and say, you know what, in all the years I've been involved, that we have a much better country now for our own kids to live in and our grandkids to live in, because I do not want to be growing up looking at my children exporting our best talent when we should be having them here. And that's why it's so important to vote. But I'm telling you, we need massive change here. And let people think before they put their tick on that box. Because do you want somebody that's going to work on behalf of the people of Ireland? Or do you want somebody that's going to throw out myths and disinformation just to get their own social clause or social, I suppose, profile without caring about anybody? You're not going to win everything in politics, but I will say one thing, and I've said it before. The greatest reward in life is when you can do something for somebody and they come back and say thanks. You're doing the right thing. But going out and smearing and putting out misinformation, we're a very diverse society here. We live in the European Union. That could be also improved a lot. I think we're going away from the social justice side of it into more of the warlord side of it, as we call it. We need to move away from that. And again, you have European elections coming up. Vote for the people that will have your best interests at heart. That's what you need to put the trust in. And believe you me, despite what all the bad press the politicians get, we didn't get into it to be popular. We got into it to make changes so we can be proud in the years to come and say, we have the best country in the world. We have the best people, and we should have the best facilities to back up that. And that covers everything.
So, Mehdi, we'll just switch over to you.
Thank you so much, Jack. And actually, it was really nice, those words from Pat. And I would like to just back up a few things. First of all, immigration issue, right? Even on the door, when I talk, to be honest, people, they don't talk about immigration with me. Almost no one brings this topic. So, unfortunately, far rights are noisy crowd, and they can make a little bit of noise on social media, but when you walk and talk to people, is different reaction there. And I used to live, and I did the politics in different countries. Immigration is one of the easiest group of people to target, but thankfully our people are really intelligent and really clever. When I talk to them, they know that the real issue is not immigration, it's housing. If people that giving out immigrants, they need to understand that the real issue behind that is housing. We need to blame the government, not the small group of people. This is the first thing. Second thing is like for voting, right? What I notice here in Ireland, Jack, people tend to vote for the people they know. They usually vote, oh, I know this person, he's lovely, nice person, they vote. But as Pat was saying, that before voting someone, you need to just think very well. This person can make a change. Their party's policies are like aligning what our town needs or not. This is very important. Don't vote just for a friend, because he might be an amazing person. She might be an amazing person, nice, lovely person, but you need to see this as a business. Your job is going to be done or not, because you need things to be done, not just like have a nice friend there is coming and asking you a favor to vote. Things, especially politics, doesn't work like that. I know that little bit of culture is there, but this needs to be changed. And we need to really people and parties, especially like our party, and things needs to be done. That's why it's important to vote with your head, not with your heart too much as well there, because you see that things are not going well, and that that should give you a clear indication that you need to change your answer to that.
That's very profound, Mehdi, and thanks very much for that. Now, the next question I want to ask both of you, because I know Sinn Fein are predicted to do quite well in the local elections. I just want to get your take on who you think are going to be the biggest winners on Friday and who might be the biggest losers on Friday. So, Pat, we'll start with yourself, and Mehdi, then we'll start with yourself.
If I know that answer, Jack, I would not be sitting with you here today. I'd be going to every bit office in the country. It's so unpredictable. I've seen it over the years. National politics is very, very different to local politics. The local elections are probably one of the most unpredictable elections. Why? A lot of it is based on what town or village you're from, what part you're from. Then you have personal votes, family votes, and then also the demographics of how big a town or village that you're in could be a massive advantage to you as well. How it pans out, it's like every party, I suppose. You all want to give in the most seats, but I couldn't call it, but I'm just hoping that people will actually go out and vote for change. As I said, because if you've got the same thing as we've had for the last 10, 15 years, it's not rocket science to do the maths and see who's been in there for the last 15 years. So I think the most important thing here is to use the head, think before you tick that box. But Jack, if I was to call who's going to be the winners and losers here, it's one of the hardest questions I'd say I've been asked in a long time.
And I think that goes without saying that it just shows how liquid local politics in Ireland is, that we're 2 days out from the local elections here in Ireland, and it's still anyone's game, you know. It could be Fine Gael winning it, it could be Sinn Fein winning it could be us and the Social Democrats winning it, you know. It could even be A2 or one of these up-and-coming parties that get the most seats. But the thing that I am stressing to people the most is that you need to get out and vote, and as the Electoral Commission ad on the TV says, is don't let someone else speak for you, because we've all seen the ad of the lady in the hairdressers and the other lady comes over and decides what haircut she's going to get. Don't be that person, and don't let someone else speak for you. So Mehdi, we're going to get your opinion on it now.
Thank you, Jack. So, and first of all, I want to remind the public an important thing. So many people, they actually told me, oh yeah, you are going to get in government, or you're going to win local election, this and that. So instead of you're going to win anyway, I'm going to vote X party or Y party because they are small or whatever, and you're going to win it anyway. And what I'm telling, no, because your vote is an important vote for us anyway. So don't think in this way, and go vote, but vote especially for winner, right? And that is important thing. And other thing that I wanted to say, for me, the winner is going to be the Irish people. Citizens, they are going to be the winner of this election, as always. And the people that they are going to lose, I reckon, and I can tell you, that people that creates these like air of fear in Ireland, and they I don't want to call it just fire right, but people that they are trying to mess at our life and our politics and stuff. So I think they're gonna be the biggest loser, and I hope they're gonna be. But the winner, the Irish people, are going to be the winner. And by saying that, obviously, I mean that they are going to vote for a change. I feel that, and I hear that. And on such a day, I hope we, especially our party, will gain the most of the votes.
And I'm just going to bring it back to the polls that have been going out lately. Sinn Fein, even though polling for them is down slightly at the moment. I think a lot of people don't realise is Sinn Fein has been in this position before where support has been down, but they've actually bounced back. So I think that needs to be taken into account as well, that it was very similar in 2019 where the public support for Sinn Fein was down and they bounced back after the local election. So I don't think people should really discount Sinn Fein in the upcoming election, but also I don't think people should discount Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael doing well either. If I was to predict who would actually pick up the most seats, I'd actually say, in terms of percentage, I actually reckon it'll be the Social Democrats or Sinn Féin picking up the most seats. Because the Greens are going to lose quite a lot of local seats because we all know the Green Party are usually the ones that takes a hammering when it comes to, or the minor coalition partner, I should say, are usually the one that takes a hammering if the government have been performing poorly and public opinion has turned against them. It is usually the minor coalition partner takes an absolute kicking. And I think as well that even though Labour haven't really been in power for the last 4 years, I think we're actually going to see a reduction in Labour councillors. But it's still, at this stage, folks, it's still too early to call. So I think the next question I have for you both is, what would you like to see over the next 5 years in local government in Ireland? Pat, we'll start with you.
I think the biggest mistake, Jack, was getting rid of the local town councils and going to the municipal. They've lost the power. As I said before, we need connectivity between the bottom to the top, and at the moment it's tops down to the bottom approach. That needs to change. I think there's so many changes that should be done. But when we were talking earlier on about democracy, it should start at local level. Those at the local level are the experts. They have the local knowledge, whether it is the road, whether it is sewage, whether it is a building site, whatever it is. I mean, I feel sometimes that the councils are not being listened to, especially at local level. And I think since they have the municipals, it has weakened the power of the councils as well. You know, when you had your own council in Cobh, you had ones in Middleton and Youghal, and it seemed to work better. I can remember being part of the former town council in Middleton, and I remember having a discussion before they were going into the municipal, how, you know, what are we going to do with the balance and funding here that we have? Like, if we don't spend this locally, it goes back in to Central Exchequer, whether it be Cork County Council or Dublin. So we said, come up with a plan, i.e. on the footpaths, on flood defences, on Christmas lights. We tried to cover everything so that the money would be invested in the local services and amenities. And I think that's the most important thing. We have an awful habit here, right, of being reactive instead of proactive. And the other side of it is, why keep changing things that work? When we had the old town councils, when you had the man with the JCB and one fella with a shovel, he was cleaning out the gullies and cleaning the dikes. That's gone. It's gone off to this private company or semi-private company, Irish Water, that don't do it anyway. So I think go back to brass tacks, come back to basics, a bottoms-up approach with a very good channel, and that's why I think it's important to have your local council, you know, that's representing the county council, to be in talks with their TDs, with their MEPs. It has to be the team sport, but I do think we need to go back to stuff that we were good at and stop changing it and move away from your privatisation effort and go back into when we had our council staff, when you had our council gang building houses and everything. We did it brilliant, and then we changed it. Why? Somebody went for quantity instead of quality, and when you start privatisation, it's profit and it's not services or care. So go back to what we used to do great.
And that was Pat Buckley, Sinn Féin TD for Cork East. Mehdi, we're going to get you to give us an answer on that question now.
Of course. So I totally agree with Pat. This is also what people keep telling me. There was no need for town council to be abolished. It was one of the most stupid decisions. What people are telling me. This is not only my opinion. This was really, really big mistake. In fact, we see the results of that. And the councillors also job and they are not effective as before, unfortunately. What I feel their job is like a middleman at the moment. They are just passing the issues from public to councils, and then that doesn't work at all. So as Pat was saying, we need definitely back within 5 years or after 5 years, but as if things were working, why to remove it or like change it? And so I totally agree on that as well.
That's perfect, Mehdi. So Pat is just leaving us there now because Pat has to head back to Middleton. We want to thank him for coming on to the podcast for the first part.
No pleasure. Thanks a million, lads. It's nice to be on one. I don't think I was ever on a podcast, so I'm showing my age, but no, it's lovely to have a conversation like this and people to tune in. And as I said, it's about making the right choices. Just do the right thing. Think about your own future and think about who you want to represent you going forward and be able to make change in this country. So thanks for that, lads.
No problem, Pat, and it's been a pleasure having you on. Folks, that's been Pat Buckley, TD for Cork East, Sinn Fein TD, and we will hopefully be catching up with Pat on Sunday if he's at the count in County Hall, and we'll make sure to get plenty of photos with him and put them up on our socials. So thanks for that. So, that was Pat Buckley, TD for Cork East, and Pat's an amazing deputy for Cork East. I know myself, I've contacted Pat many times on local issues, and I have to say, not just Pat, all the TDs in Cork East are phenomenal representatives. I know I'm biased being from East Cork, but I do think we have the highest calibre of TDs in the entire county of Cork, and in terms of Dáil constituencies, I think Cork really punches above its weight in terms of the TDs that it has. Mehdi, I'm just going to get your opinion on it.
Of course. So, as you see, Jack, this is important. When you have a local TDs and local councillors, that they can work together very well. And Pat is an amazing person, not only as a TD, but also like as a human being. And with his background, all the issues that he had, really great person, great human. And you need those kind of people. You need an honest person. You need a intelligent and local person around you that can represent you. Working with him, Jack, I noticed that he's like takes notes, and he always come back to people with an answer. And he is not like a person that promise everything and in the end they don't deliver. This is the difference that I see in him. So this is important. That's why I love to work with him or the TDs like him, because when you have a good team, you can escalate issues, and then they obviously bring to Dáil, and there they can fight on behalf of you and on behalf of your town. So this is really important to have like the parties. In fact, you can see why the party system is important, and it works together. Because if you have an independent person, they don't have a TD to work together. They have to contact the minister or the departments. Sometimes they don't get the replies, or they get, but it's very slow. But if you have a good team in the Dáil, it's a different story.
And thanks for that, Mehdi. And I think it goes without credit, or without saying, my apologies, folks. It's been a long day. I've been out with a lot of local election candidates today, including Mehdi. And I've been out photographing a lot of them. I've been out following them, talking to a lot of them. And I have to say, folks, it's been one of the most rewarding experiences of the last number of years that I've ever done. And, when you're told by a TD such as Pat Buckley that they're doing a great job in doing a podcast such as this, kind of gives you a bit of oomph to keep going. And it gives you a bit of, even to get that kind of support from a sitting TD and having the support of two sitting councillors in Cobh who've all been, three sitting councillors who've all been very supportive of this, it just goes to show you, folks, that there is want and change in politics. You just have to be willing to go out there and find it. So, Mehdi, this is kind of going to be a bit of a shorter episode today. It's not going to be the full hour-long episode we had last time. It's going to we want to keep it about 30 minutes. So I suppose, what's your hopes for the weekend? Are you hoping that you get in? Are you hoping that Sinn Fein does well? What's your hopes for the weekend?
Thank you, Jack. It's been an amazing day. Thank you so much for coming as well. And as you can see that also the reaction of people as well. And one of the most important things also, I joined the politics at this time in the election. The reason I wanted to make a change, I wanted to give back and then pay back to Ireland, especially to my town, that whatever I got it, So there will be a change, and I hope the name of the change, it will be Sinn Fein. And I want my party to see a big gain there, because working with Sinn Fein, Jack, I noticed so many honest, hardworking people, and there is no political career chasing people here. There are people, honesties, people, they are working there so many years in the same role. They can get up in the morning, go there canvassing, fighting on behalf of you, without waiting anything. They are actually receiving a lot of abuse issues, but they are still there for one objective, a goal. So this is really important. Main thing, and I hope I will be elected, and so I can fight on behalf of Cobh, and not only Cobh, Little Island, Carrigtwohill, and Carrignavar, Whitechurch, Watergrasshill. I met also so many nice people there. And people, they really need a good representation. And I am not just like going to sit and receive only emails and pass there. And I want to really go and fight on behalf of them and try to get things done. So this is important, and then is important also for us, for our party, to gain most of the seats, so that government can feel that they are being punished. Because if they don't feel that they are actually being punished by people, by votes, and they will continue with their policies, and which and which people can see that they are actually destroying Ireland with taxing or homelessness, or as you can see, the road infrastructure, the monies are going like in stupid places, but at least that can work very well.
Goes without saying that, Cobh is a very small town. It's a wonderful town. It's made up of many, many characters, and like we have a load of fantastic candidates. Mehdi and Sinead are an example of that, and I think they're going to both do phenomenally well come Friday. Hopefully Mehdi gets in, because I think we do need a strong Republican voice in Cobh. I hope Sinead gets in, because we need a strong business voice in Cobh. And I think we need a very strong kind of like cross-party ethos in Cork County Council going forward for the next 5 years. It's been a pleasure working with Mehdi over the last 2 weeks. I've gotten to know him very, very well. Hopefully I'll be able to call him a friend soon enough.
You are already,
And I appreciate that, Mehdi. And you see, my job in this political podcast, folks, is to bring the human back into the politics. Because I think a lot of people forget, behind the posters, there's just an average, normal human. And if my job has been to get one person to realise that, that's my job done. So, Mehdi, we want to wish you very, very well for the upcoming locals. I know we've already covered giving you number one on the podcast episode, so we won't have to rehash that again. But the last question I have for you, how have you found canvassing? Have you found it difficult? Have you found it challenging? How have you found it?
To be honest, Jack, what I can tell you, I have a different backgrounds, obviously, in politics. I did in different countries. Since I am 13 years old, I was doing the canvassing. I was expecting Ireland to be a little bit more difficult. In fact, it wasn't. And I was also a bit surprised when people told me that it's actually culture that you knock the door, you need to meet the people. What I used to do, obviously, when we could have a normal table on the middle of the town, and then people were coming, talking to you, asking you a question. And here I see that there is still old school, which I really loved, because meeting people, listening them, every single of them been amazing to me. And even though they said that, no, they are not going to vote, but their reaction was amazing and they were really lovely. Canvassing was a big pleasure for me. In fact, I am also grateful about this. And I wanted to do most instead of the printing papers and poster, which I don't like. I prefer the power of social media, and sending stuff and showing and explaining would be much more easier. But talking to people, listening them, it is a big pleasure for me, which I really loved. And I met so many nice people on the door. And I wish once I will be elected, I want to go and visit them, because what I remember from my past experiences, Jack, and when you meet the people, go to their door, I received a lot of bad reaction in Turkey, for example, or in Italy. People give out to you because you show your face once every 5 years. They don't like this. What I wanted to do and what I would love to do, if I will be elected, I want to go state by state, show myself during my normal service years, not once there is an election, because people, they don't appreciate that. Come to me when I need to you, not when you need to me. So this is because we serve people, not the people serves to me, So that's what I believe. And I hope and I will go back to them starting from the next week, knocking the doors, then ask their issues so I can actually escalate those stuff.
And I think that's a very humble thing to do, Mehdi. And I think a lot of people in Cobh will appreciate that, because a lot of people feel that their concerns are ignored. And I think a lot of people, what I've gotten to realise over the last few weeks is that while the councillors have an awful lot to do, they are struggling because of overweight bureaucracy, as I like to call it, in County Hall. You have people in County Hall that are holding up councillors from being amazing and doing work, and then because these individuals in County Hall are holding it up, it's causing a backlash for people, And I think this needs to be taken into consideration when you go to vote on Friday, folks. Just remember that behind the poster there is a human being. They are only human. They are going to make mistakes. They are not perfect. If the world was perfect, folks, I'd be a billionaire. I'd be a lot less heavy, and I'd be looking like George Clooney. But we have to be realistic. I don't look like George Clooney. I'm not a billionaire yet, I have to work on getting my weight under control, because folks, I think what makes us is our imperfections, And I think if we really want change, we have to be willing to accept the people that we put into office aren't going to get it right 100% of the time. They're not going to get it right 80% of the time. If they get it right 50% of the time or 60% of the time, it'll be as much, Because as my grandfather used to say to me when he was alive, he said, the best person is the person that realises he made a mistake, not the person that thinks he can never make a mistake. So, folks, we're going to wrap up the episode there. Mehdi, thank you very, very much.
Thank you,
for
Jack.
Today.
It's been amazing. And as Pat was saying, please continue this. And we are lucky to have you locally, because me personally, I love listening podcast. I'm crazy on Spotify. I listen so many people, different languages, and I love to be on the top of the things. And you have really good thinking and good understanding of the world politics. So please continue. We need more of those episodes from you with different people, different views. And I would love, this is a suggestion and feedback, bring one of the maybe not far right ideology, but the right ideology person with your great questions. We want to hear from everybody. We would like to hear everybody's opinion, which would be good. And I would be looking forward to listen more of those episodes.
And so, folks, this will be the last episode before the local election. Due to the moratorium that comes into effect at midnight on Thursday, I can no longer post local election episodes. So this will be the final episode in the local election special episode. I want to wish all the candidates the very best of luck on polling day come Friday. They've all worked extremely hard, the ones I've interviewed anyway. Those are the ones I can only speak of. And to any of them that I didn't speak to, I wish you the very best of luck as well. And I just want people to know as well, get out, vote. Do not be afraid to get out and vote. Your vote could be the difference between someone with great ideas getting in and someone who's just there for the boys staying in power. Be that change. Be the political power. And remember, folks, your voice does count. So for this episode of Jack to Politics, this is Jack signing off. I want to say thanks so much to everyone who's listened to the special episodes over the last few weeks. I know you've had to listen to me rambling about local politics, and I know I've tried to stay as centrist as I could. I know my kind of left-leaning tendencies have come out a small bit, but I think that's the thing about being apolitical, folks, is you are always going to have a bias, left or right, and in my case it's a left-leaning bias. But does that mean I'm not going to listen to a right-wing politician? No, it doesn't, because at Jacked Up Politics we're all about evidence and fact-based approaches and making sure we give you the unbiased political view. So until the next time, folks, this is Jack signing off for Jacked Up Politics. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Nobody ever said this would be easy, but trust when I say that you got it. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead. Follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promised land. Somebody loves you, please don't forget such. Take your time, no need to feel rushed. We gon' shine somehow one day.